My invention is a new sparking configuration for a 4-stroke internal combustion engine. Let's review what those 4 strokes are: intake, compression, power, and exhaust. During the intake stroke, the fuel valve is open. The crankshaft rotates 180 degrees, bringing the piston down in the cylinder. This draws the fuel-air mixture into the chamber. At the end of the stroke, the fuel valve closes. During the compression stroke, the crankshaft rotates another 180 degrees, bringing the piston up in the cylinder. This compresses the fuel-air mixture. During the power stroke, the spark plug fires, igniting the fuel and causing an explosion, which drives the piston down and rotates the crankshaft another 180 degrees. During the exhaust stroke, the exhaust valve is open. The crankshaft rotates another 180 degrees, bringing the piston up in the cylinder and pushing the burned fuel out. The exhaust valve closes and the process is ready to start again. When the piston is as high as it will go at the end of the compression stroke, that is referred to as top dead center. As the piston approaches that position near the end of the compression stroke, it is referred to as before top dead center, and it is measured in degrees of rotation of the crankshaft. Similarly, we can have a piston location of so many degrees after top dead center during the power stroke. When the spark plug fires, it ignites the fuel-air mixture, but the process takes time. First, the fuel touched by the spark burns, which ignites fuel next to it, and the burning fuel spreads out in a wave until all the fuel is spent. Though it appears instantaneous, it does require a definite amount of time. This burn time is constant, although it frequently is described as degrees of crankshaft rotation, which will vary with the speed of the engine. If we consider a burn time duration of 20 degrees, we see that a significant amount of the burn occurs after the piston already has moved part way down in the cylinder. In addition to lost power from the part of the burn that occurs after top dead center all the way up to 20 degrees after top dead center, other problems arise, including separation of the fuel-air mixture before ignition, which causes incomplete fuel burn. These problems have been answered with compromises. Turbulence, for example, is designed into the fuel-air intake valve workings to delay separation. Another compromise is to advance the spark, or to fire the spark several degrees before top dead center. Though there is some fuel burn pushing the piston the wrong way, the overall effect is to increase efficiency. One rule of thumb is to advance the spark until the engine starts to knock, and then to reduce the advance by 1 or 2 degrees. In our 20-degree scenario, 6 degrees of burn might occur before top dead center and 14 degrees after. The knock I mentioned happens if the ignition explosion reaches the piston before the piston reaches top dead center. In one compromise, the spark is ignited high in the chamber so that the piston has more time to reach top dead center before the burn wave front reaches it. This burn wave front is the location of the fuel being ignited in any instant in 3 dimensions. For simplicity, let's look at this wave front in only 2 dimensions. The spark ignites fuel at the center of the cylinder, and the burn proceeds to the wall of the cylinder. We can look at the extent of the burn during a degree or cumulatively. If we could speed up the burn time, we could reduce some of the problems and some of the compromises. One way to accomplish the faster burn is with multiple sparks, anywhere from 2 to 100 or more, spread throughout the cylinder. For this project, I will work with a 7-spark multi-spark configuration. 1 spark in the center and 6 more sparks arranged as a hexagon near the cylinder wall. I suggest 0.85 radii from the center. Looking at the burn time profile for this arrangement, we find 2 things. First, the total burn time is reduced in half. And 2, the shape of the burn graph has changed, so that on average it burns more quickly earlier within that half, compared to the single spark configuration. Comparing the single spark and the multi-spark plug cumulative graphs, both the shorter duration and the quicker pace of the multi-spark plug are dramatically apparent. If we bring the multi-spark plug profile back to top dead center, we see that except for the first few degrees, the multi-spark plug significantly outperforms a single spark setup. Implementation involves several choices. The multi-spark can be as a single integrated unit screwed into a larger spark plug opening in the cylinder head. While this would make servicing much easier, current head designs are quite crowded. There just isn't enough real estate without doing a whole head redesign. A second possibility would be to inlay the 6 outer sparks on the outside face of the cylinder head. Servicing would be somewhat easier, requiring removal of the cylinder head and allowing a more precise connection to the central spark plug, but real estate is even more limited inside the cylinder head. Another way would be to embed the 6 outer sparks on the face of the piston, connected to the center spark plug with a proximity connection. While the location would allow the 3D burn to be quickest, the servicing would be difficult, requiring removal of the pistons or design of a removable piston top. A fourth possibility would be to attach an extender onto the central spark plug floating in the open chamber. While this might be easiest to implement, assembly durability would be an issue. Another choice is whether the electrical setup should be in series or in parallel. While there are benefits in each, I expect the series will be the preferred configuration, possibly with a more powerful spark coil. Beyond this, the location of the spark relative to top dead center and the distance of the spark from the piston face at top dead center would need to be determined. Several other possibilities expose themselves as a result of this new configuration, but those will be addressed